Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 19 of Enigmatica 2 Expert. As we start today, I want to look at how many ingots we have. Dear goodness. Basically all of these drawers are filled, and these are all max upgrade drawers. As many upgrades as they could hold, leaving room for a void upgrade. And in fact, specifically looking at Draconium, I think I was incorrect to worry about the Draconium yield. There's 700 stacks of blocks of Draconium. In ingots, that comes out to 405,000. Most of these ingots are used in singularities, so we're going to need a lot of them, which is why, well, I'm making a lot of them. I guess Draconium does not appear to have a singularity. But if we look at something like, I don't know, iron, let's just look at singularity here instead. So, even stuff like emerald, right? 10,000 emerald for a singularity, aluminum 10,000, lead 10,000. And we're going to need a handful of these singularities to complete the pack. Because we need, well, okay, I guess we need to make 2 ultimate ingots. If memory serves me right. I suppose we need to make 1. Or 1 infinity ingot. Because you don't need it until you have the creative fluid tank. At which point you make 1 and then you can turn it into the fluids for 2. Anyways, that's still a little ways ahead of us. What I'm saying is our ore processing system is very robust and has produced a lot of ores. Also, at the right angle, our iron chests turn into gold chests. I haven't hit this button in a while. I currently have 338 levels of experience. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. 931 levels of experience now. Perhaps we should make an experience obelisk and store this before I get myself killed and lose it all. What in the world do I need 900 levels of experience for? Who knows? Maybe... Nah, like we might end up using it for mob spawning. In all likelihood, it sits there until we complete the pack. Anyways, at this point, I think we're ready to really dive into Draconic Evolution. We made the Draconic core, so the next step is naturally the what? Wyvern core. Wyvern core? This is made in a carpenter with primal. Is it more efficient to use? Yeah, it's more efficient to use the advanced carpenter, so we may as well make an advanced carpenter. Right, it uses 1 less shulker shell, 2 less. No, same amount of Luduk, right? So that's it. 1 less shulker shell and half as much primal mana. Primal mana comes from alloying IC2 Coolant, Osgil Gloss, and Mirian. So I think this is easy, right? Glowstone, yep. That one we can make already. Mirian is Glass, Cobalt, Elementium, Mana Steel, Terra Steel. That's a lot of stuff. Let's start by setting up a system that'll make some of these ingots. So Cobalt we get from our Void Ore Miner, trivial. Elementium, Mana Steel, and Terra Steel are all Botania ingots. However, there's an easier way to get them than doing Botania. If you've noticed, mobs sometimes spawn with armor. And sometimes when they die, they even drop their armor. But when the armor drops, it's heavily damaged, and they only sometimes drop the armor. Most of the time, they don't. However, there's a way we can make it so that any mob that spawns with armor, we can guaranteed strip them of the armor before we, throw them into the mob tank. The gist is approximately as follows. Using integrated dynamics, we can take items out of inventories and strip armor off mobs. So, if you extract items out the bottom side of a mob, or a player, in fact, if I jump in here, it'll take my items as well. But if you take it out the bottom side, you take out of their inventory. And if you take out of the side, you take off their armor. So if you want to get both the item that's in their hand and the items that are that they're wearing, you have to use a importer on the bottom and an importer on the side. You want to set these to import all items from entities, right? Like take all the stuff from it. And just as a bit of a convenience, you want to set this entity index to -1. Then you need to somehow, this is just a proof of concept, so I don't have it integrated with the mob spawner yet, but you want to spawn a mob that has armor. And you'll want to somehow move him. Let's use a soul vial for that. And okay, so this one, you see, we saw him pick up the item, right? He has items in his hands and he's wearing stuff. If we put him in here, yoink, there goes all his gear, and it gets put into the chest. The gear is in the state that that he was wearing it in. So it doesn't damage it any more than it already was, but sometimes the gear can be damaged right off the bat. But yeah, using a method like this, all we have to do is constantly feed it mobs, and then once mobs are without armor, we want to kill them somehow. But that's really all there is to it. With this, we will have a nice infinite supply of armor. Let's integrate this into a mob spawning setup now. Tested out a couple different mob spawners, and I think the most, the fastest one by a country mile is the mob duplicator from Industrial Forgoing. As long as you give it a little bit of essence, it just spits out mobs. And that was from 1 bucket. If I give it a full 8 buckets of essence, it's, mobs for days. Now, we actually don't want to put that many mobs in the chamber at once, because if we put this many mobs in the chamber at once, it actually takes an incredibly long time for it to actually extract their items, because we take items from a random mob every time. Right, so we want to actually ration the spawning a little bit. That's probably done just by, not putting this many upgrades in the mob duplicator. But another thing I realized is that I actually don't care for... Okay, hold on. First, we'll deal with their shouting for a minute. I don't actually care for most of the weapons they drop. All the Tinker's stuff is useless. It cannot be recycled into anything more useful. So any of the Tinker's weapons are straight up useless. And then it's like there's some iron, some invar. Technically, it's not valueless, but it's not really a resource I bother. Like fiery maybe, but we get plenty of other fiery gear. Anyways, my point is, I don't think I'm going to bother taking their weapons. Which means that I don't have to take the items off their hands. Which means that the bottom side, instead of using the item importer, I can put something else. And I think I'm just gonna tear this down. This is our proof of concept. It works. We'll go build it probably over by our other mob stuff. And I'll mix up the design a little bit to hopefully be able to constantly process mobs. Mob stripper take 2. Here we go. So, I've switched it up such that we still have the same component. A mob duplicator spawns mobs, but now it spawns it along this conveyor belt here, or vector plate belt, whatever, that pushes mobs along. And along the way, they gradually get stripped of their gear. There's 16 importers stripping them of their gear. And then when they reach the end, they reach a mob crusher that has no range upgrades, so it only kills the last slot. And it kills them off. And remember those 900 levels we had earlier? Well, I figured, let's use those 900 levels to spawn mobs. So we first have to convert the EXP into essence. That's done in a fluid dictionary converter, and that gets piped into the mob duplicator. The only issue I'm seeing is that the mob duplicator seems to produce mobs that don't wear armor a lot. And when they do wear armor, like you saw that I think it was that one, he's dead now. But it tends to produce mobs that only wear vanilla armor. So maybe we can't use this spawner. I think this is it uses a slightly different mob spawning algorithm, which results in, it results in spawning mobs that don't have armor, which isn't what we want. So maybe let's try swapping those with a different spawner. I'm going to try putting the Ender Isle spawner back here. The Ender Isle spawner, unfortunately, has, a radius, so we're going to have to come up with some way to actually push mobs onto exactly this spot if we can't use the mob duplicator, which is a bit of a shame. What I was doing before is using the Ender Isle spawner to fill soul vials in capture mode, but in this mode it is really slow. Really slow. Let's try it this way. There's an Ender Isle spawner in there. It still only has the tier 2 capacitor, because I don't think I can actually make the tier 3s yet. Or maybe just recently I gained the ability to make these. Let's see. We can probably make them pretty soon. But it seems to work better. The baby there appears to have fallen through the cracks. I guess the baby can fall out through here. I'll just add a couple more world importers here so that they can't fall out. But this seems to work a lot better now. The mobs spawned by the Ender Isle spawner do actually have armor. So as they trickle through here, their armor gets stripped, placed into our, for now, the chest, but we'll have to process it at some point. But here there's Elementium, there's Mana Steel, a little bit of Terra Steel, even up to Supremium, and I think even the tier above Supremium armor drops sometimes. But yeah, this will be our source of stuff, and then we just have to take at least the ones that we want to melt down, run them through, like the terrasteel here, run it through the arc furnace, and get our ingots back. Oh, we only get 3 ingots from a terrasteel chest? Whatever. We get free terrasteel this way. Most of the armor that comes off these mobs, though, is trash. So, I set up a thing to trash the ones we don't want. And that even includes stuff like diamond, because, for one, I have all the diamonds I could ever use, and for two, it's not particularly worthwhile to try to recycle this diamond equipment. We can technically, like, pulverize it to get 4 diamonds back, but, I don't know. When I'm sitting on 352,000 diamonds, I'm not too concerned about putting in the work to get those extra 4. So what's left in here are the items that I generally want to keep. Boron nitrate is because I haven't made it any other way yet. Elementium, the Botania ones, right? Elementium, Mana Steel, Terra Steel, and then the Twilight Forest stuff, although realistically we probably don't even need to keep the Twilight Forest stuff because we don't need a lot of this. Oh, we need some. We need 1 piece of each armor for to make like the liver and stuff, but that 1 piece we already have from elsewhere. What's really important is that we need, I think, these ingots. We use 1 of in ultimate ingots, so I guess it's valuable enough that we should keep them. Anyways, most of the Twilight Forest stuff is nice because we can just uncraft it. And it seems all the stuff we're getting now is full durability. So I think the damage that was taken on armor was because the mobs were on fire. Now that the mobs are no longer on fire, it always comes through completely full durability. So any of the Twilight Forest stuff I'll just craft it into ingots. But that leaves the stuff that has to be recycled through the... Oh, we can't even recycle the boron nitrate. Okay, we'll throw it out. I'll keep this little bit because we need it for crafting armor, but the rest I'll throw out. But almost everything else here, all the Botania armor, is recycled through the arc furnace. So I'm going to... Do we move our arc furnace, or do we... Yeah, let's just move our arc furnace over to here. I'll put our arc furnace back over here, and then we can pipe the recyclable items into there to be recycled. Same goes for this mystical agriculture gear. It can be recycled into an arc furnace. There we go. And it's all coming together. The final, or all the recyclable gear goes into here. Gets recycled. I guess we have to actually route the output somewhere, but the only thing left to worry about are these electrodes, and I don't actually think there's any way to they're not taking durability damage right now, right? I don't think there's any way to automatically replace them. Like, you can't insert into this arc furnace electrode slot, so as a result there's no way to fully automate that. It's just every now and then we do have to replace these electrodes if you want to keep the system running. But besides that, we now have a system that will produce all of these relatively rare ingots for us, and all it costs is a little bit of RF. These are all the different ingot types that come out of it, and I'm pretty happy with this. There's a couple extra slots. I'm hoping that we can get the red ingot as well, Supremium I think it's called, but either we haven't gotten any yet, or it's just not possible to get. All that's left is one tiny problem, and it's these small guys seem to be able to sneak in between the as you saw there, the things, and not get stuck or not get pushed. I think, does this work? Yeah, this works, right? It kind of works. If I apply these covers, they don't quite look very good, but then again, since when has anything I've built look any good? If I put these covers on the cables, the babies shouldn't be able to sneak past them anymore. Next up, I'd like to upgrade our double layer capacitor in the machine to an octadic. We do have loot capacitors, I believe, but I don't see them shown in here. I don't know if they're enabled in like dungeon temple loot or any of that. Maybe we should take like a quick minute to fly around, check. Forget it. I'll do it later, maybe. Let's just build the thing to make charged zirconium. So that's a crafting core and pedestal. I think we can make this now. As far as I can tell, there's no reason. I mean, now that we can make black iron, osmiridium. Oh, we do need a tier 3 crafting table. I think we can do it. Let's give it a shot. This is a recipe to make the elite crafting table. I mean, it's a shaped recipe, but these are the ingredients. I'm just going to put the thing in here and then let the ME system pull all the ingredients together, dump them into a chest here where I can take them, put them in this crafting table, and there we go. Tier 3 crafting. All right. I suspect there's a quest for that. I probably just haven't unlocked it yet. Anyways, with this, oh wow, that's a recipe. We're not going to deal with that for a bit. Let's put in this recipe to make crystalline ingots. Fully automating the crafting of these ingots requires having a dedicated crafting table to it, and these elite crafting tables are expensive and difficult enough to make for now that I don't want to do that. So I'll just batch craft it by requesting a whole bunch. I guess to take about half another star each, which is why there's more withers being killed in the background. All this stuff gets dumped into here, and then I can't quite take it all at once, but we can just do this. The automation system for these extended crafting tables is a little bit on the slow side as well. So if I don't need a tremendous number of these ingots, just requesting 50 or 100 and then handcrafting them gets the job done for now. Again, for short-term simplicity's sake, I'm just going to use our first crafting core only to make charged draconium. And are we making any progress at all? Does it backwards progress if it's not receiving energy? Does it need 10 million RF a tick to make any progress? That's a little, okay. Well... Let me do something about that, I guess. This is a lot of energy. 22 billion RF. We're gonna need to buffer our energy somehow. Alright, well, let me come up with a way to buffer our energy, I guess. To store the amount of energy we need now, that is like billions and billions and perhaps even trillions, there's realistically only two options. The Draconic Evolution Energy Core. However, the Draconic Evolution Energy Core takes... Let's see if I can find it here. It requires Wyvern cores to make. Well, Wyvern core. But I think the other components might also take more Wyvern cores, and I don't know if it takes Awakened cores or not. Additionally, I've made this. I think everyone's made energy core before. So instead, let's make the mechanism energy storage, and that is the induction cell. So that's made from a bunch of induction casings. It's a multi-block, so it's kind of up to you exactly how many. But a bunch of induction casings, ports for I/O. Alright, we got the easy stuff out of the way. Now, it's a cuboid, so, basically a rectangular prism. Inside, the pieces you put in determine its energy storage and I/O capabilities. So, induction providers increase I/O capability, and if we just have like 2 ultimate induction providers, that's 26 billion RF a tick. That's plenty. However, even 2 of these is yikes, a bit pricey. So these are easy to make. These I just need to print more of, but lithium dust is most easily made by taking some of this lithium and turning it into lithium dust. So let's set that system up. We can also take the lithium ingots we have and just crush it into dust, but it's easier, in my opinion, to make it from the mechanism way. So where exactly is that? The ores... lithium... Here we go. We take lithium... I think this is fluid, right? No, this is gas. Take gaseous lithium, put it through a chemical crystallizer, and we get lithium dust out the other end. And then we can use that to make the induction components. Remember that lithium is one of the products that we make as part of the fuel chain for our reactor. So we make way more than, like, this thermal evaporation plant makes way more than we could dream of possibly using, at least in the reactor alone. So the rest of it gets sent to the chemical crystal. Well, some of it gets sent to the chemical crystallizers. These machines are a bit slower than I thought they were. This is fully upgraded. Full stacks of each upgrade using 4.8 thousand RF a tick each, and it still takes a good second to make each dust. Still, this with 4 of them, we get about 4 dusts a second. And with that, we should be able to make the induction bits relatively soon. It'll probably take it, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. Actually, No, it looks like it's already enough. It only takes 400 pieces. In the meantime, let's drop in the recipe for the basic control circuit, and I'll go grab our steel casings. I switched this up to actually have a buffer chest, so I can, when I choose an item to replicate, I get a whole chest full of it at a time instead of a stack full of it. And we also have basically a full tank of UV matter. It was full at the start of the day, but I've used apparently about was that 10? No, 100. I've used about 100,000 millibuckets of the tank, mostly making skulls for the wither farm. So that should mean that we can make a couple providers. So again, 2 providers means we get 26 million RF a tick input ore extraction. That's plenty. Pretty deeply nested crafting. It's going to take a little while, but if we had to craft this by hand, that's like way too many steps. These energy tablets don't stack. It's an inventory disaster. But the applied energistic system makes that not so bad. Anyways, to get energy storage, we need induction cells. And each cell gives, well, it depends on the tier. As low as basic is 400 million RF, up all the way up to ultimate, which is 205 billion. So if you have like 10 of these, you have effectively the tier 7, that's a lot of lithium, but that effectively is the tier 7 draconic energy orb. But for now, I guess let's start with half of that maybe, and we can add more internal bits as we go. So I'm going to print a few more of these ultimate control circuits, and we'll just wait another couple minutes for the lithium to craft, and then once that is good to go, we can put together our 50 millibuckets each, easy. Once that's good to go, we can put together our induction cell. This crafting task is going to take a little while. 12,000 redstone being used to make 6,000 enriched alloys. Yeah, that's going to take a little while. I upgraded our factories here to the 7-slot factories, but they don't get bigger than 7 slots in this version. And even at 7 slots fully upgraded, these are fully upgraded, right? Yeah, 7 slots fully upgraded, they still only, it produces like, does it even do 1 item a second? Or 1 item a tick? Probably not, right? It probably takes it about a second per operation. Maybe even longer than that. So, yeah, it'll take like 30 plus minutes for that crafting task to finish. In the meantime, then, let's, that means we won't be able to get back to our crafting here for quite a while, and that's all right. We'll leave this alone for now. Let's get back to those wyvern cores then. So let's see, we got distracted by something. We got distracted by part of the primal mana, right? Yeah, the Mirion. Let's actually make this Mirion now. So this is glass, cobalt element. So let's see, what is 18 a nugget? No, a nugget is 16. So an 18 is 1/8. So 1 ingot to 1 ingot to 1 ingot to 1 ingot to, this is probably 1 piece of glass. And if we pipe all that into a smeltery, we can melt it and then cast it as a Mirion ingot. Although for now, we don't actually want it in ingot, we don't actually want Mirion in ingot form, do we? Do we need it in ingot form eventually? We need a little bit of it for creatives. But that's, or for, ultimate ingot and creative. But generally speaking, we actually need it in liquid form. I see. I want to try something. I want to see if we can use the alloy tank to make these alloys, both Mirion and this primal mana. The issue with the alloying in the smeltery is that you can't just jam everything into the smeltery and let it like just fill up, because you could end up deadlocked effectively. A state where your smeltery is full, but you don't have a complete recipe worth of stuff. Whereas if you do your smelting in this alloy tank, you have 5 different sides worth of input, right? And the 6th side has to be for heat. But these 5 sides can each have one of the input ingredients, and that way, you can fill each one up with its own thing and not have to worry about jamming it up. Now, that does mean that if you have, a block only has 6 sides, right? That's kind of how cubes work. But if we're going to use 5 for input and 1 for heat, how do we get the fluid out? I think we'll use a phantom phase for that. But first, I just want to make sure that it's actually capable, like if the top side can actually be used as one of the alloying faces. There's a dot on it, so I assume so, but let's find out. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if it works. So it does appear to be working. Yes, excellent. I'm using UU matter as heat just because it's the hottest. It probably doesn't matter. Like, I don't think, because the inputs are already molten, I think we can just use lava as heat just as well. All right, so this does seem to work. So with this being a successful proof of concept, let's move this off to our automation area, and then make a phantom face to be able to actually withdraw the liquid in the end. Also, things feel very laggy. Nope, no lag here. I guess these blocks just lag when you break them. Who knows? Thank God for Ender Isle conduits sometimes. There's like 6 different conduit types running in that one block space there. And this whole system will be a lot messier without Ender Isle. So for now, I don't have much TerraSteel because our mob system's only been running for like the last couple hours. Probably not even last hour or so. But with what we have, we seem to be able to be producing Mirion. I think. TerraSteel? No. Why are you not running? Well, what's wrong here? I probably just have my filter messed up. Cobalt. Cobalt ingot? Oh, I'm all extracting on one thing, so it's probably only doing like it just hasn't gotten around to putting cobalt in the melter yet. There we go. So this way I don't have to worry about the thing getting jammed ever. Glass, are you melting? Which one is glass? This one is glass. Yeah, we're good. There we go. So yeah, we'll eventually run out of TerraSteel, but that just means that this TerraSteel tank will run dry, and the rest of the tanks will be, they'll fill up, and then when they fill up and this buffer fills up, then the machine here will stop melting the thing. Anyways, there we go. We have just about 4 full buckets of Mirion. I'm gonna turn some of it into ingots, but the rest of it, we're gonna put into another one of these sear tanks, because we then have to alloy the Mirion with Osglow Gloss and IC2 coolant to make primal mana. 1 stack of Mirion ingots should be enough. I can't imagine we're ever gonna be like, oh yeah, I need to make 5,000 ultimate ingots right now. Right? Hopefully. Right. So let's take a look at what it takes to make this other stuff. I'm going to hold off on the Osco Glass because this is the more complicated of the two. IC2 coolant is just made by taking water or distilled water. I'm just use water for the simplicity because we have plenty of lapis. Combine that with lapis dust, and that gives us liquid IC2 coolant. So we just have to make some of that and pipe it into another set of these combiner thingies. This time though, because I don't have 3, like I'm not going to be using all sides of the seared, of the alloy tank, I think that's what it's called. I don't have to do this fancy phantom face thing. Couple IC2 machines, a macerator and a canning machine makes the coolant. That just leaves the, what's the last thing here? Osco Gloss. So, this is an alloy of the what are these called? Mechanism ingots. And the most efficient way to make it is not in an alloy tank, right? This is 1-to-1. Basically, 1 of each makes 1 of the output. Instead, if we just make the ingot directly in the advanced metallurgic fabricator, 1 of each input makes 2 of the output. So, thankfully, we already have an advanced metallurgic fabricator. That is what this thing is, right? Yeah. So let's just put that recipe in, and then I'll set up a similar melter to melt the Mirion, or no, not Mirion, Osglow Glass, and use that for the final step of this alloying to make primal mana. I just crashed my game. Yeah, there it goes. If you change the sidedness of a mechanism machine, after you've put an item conduit against it, you have to block update the item conduit before you change its settings, otherwise it will crash your game. Alright, well, I have a 10-minute game restart ahead of me. That crash happened while I was configuring the I.O. for this compressor, this osmium compressor, because I'm using it to make my refined glowstone and refined obsidian. So anyways, there's one step here that's not fully passive, and that is the production of this osmo gloss is a on-demand task. So I can either just like request a bunch of it, or put a crafting card in the interface. And because I don't think we're gonna use a bunch of primal mana, I'm just gonna batch request large batches of osmo gloss from time to time. So anyways, this makes primal mana. Now that is the fluid for this task. So what else is primal mana used for? Is it just... Looks like it's just in a carpenter or an advanced carpenter for wyvern cores and draconic energy cores. So let's go build our well, because it's only UC, I don't need to keep a large buffer of it, is what I'm saying. But anyways, let's go build out our advanced carpenter right over here. On second thought, we are running low on time today, and one thing I definitely want to get done is our energy storage, because right now any excess energy that this reactor is making is basically getting thrown out. Instead, let's set up a system where that energy just gets saved for later, and later we'll use that energy to do something, hopefully something productive. But anyways, the induction matrix is just a bunch of casings around in a box first, so let's start by laying that out. I'm a little bit cramped here. How much further can I go? I'm never going to upgrade this to tier 6, I think. So we can basically go all the way up to it. Alright, this is more than enough space. How large is this? Large enough. You can only put functional bits in the interior, so our induction cells, as well as the 2 induction providers we made, have to go in here. Alright, we're allowed to have air blocks, so I'm not going to stress that. And then you just have to close it up. Here's a weird problem. The induction multi-block doesn't seem to want to output to cryo-stabilized flux ducts. This power cell here, it's not linked to the rest of my power cells, but it's not getting energy out of it. And there is a little bit of energy in here, right? Well, a little bit. There's 2.1 billion RF in here. But for some reason, it won't transfer it to the power cell. If I put the power cell directly against it, I suspect it will, but then I'm limited by the fact that each face of the power cell only... No, that doesn't do it. How do I make the induction matrix output? Do I have to set this as an output port somehow? Does that do it? Doesn't look like it. Ah, right. You do have to set it to output. Big derp. Use the configurator to do so. And now I suspect I should be able to plug this in and then take this cell. Which one is it? This one. And move it to here. There we go. So now all the power that gets produced by our reactor goes through the our giant battery before being dumped into the power cell. And this way, any unused energy just gets stored in here. Over time, this will build up. We're inputting we're inputting 3 million and outputting, well, we're using like 90% of our energy. But that little bit that doesn't get used, right? That 1.3, so 130,000 RF a tick is our buildup. And that buildup will eventually allow us to have enough extra RF that we can do these crafting recipes. Are these all one? Oh boy, those are big numbers. This one, is that 100,000 million billion? So 2 billion RF at 10 million RF a tick. 2 billion RF's not a lot, because when this thing is full, it will have 1,000 billion RF in it. But it'll take it some time to fill up because, again, we are using a tremendous amount of energy. One thing that we can do is actually this here. We can, when this tank fills up, instead of stopping the matter fabricator, when, like, based on the energy state, we can set the matter fabricator when this tank is completely full. In fact, let's set that up right now. A liquid monitor from RF tools will just emit a redstone signal when it's more than 99% full. So, like, we'll get, you know, a couple more. We can't set it to 100 because I don't think it can ever be more than 100% full. I don't know. So I'm just going to set to 99, and then when that happens, that'll turn off the matter fabricator, which will reduce our energy usage by a lot. The thing is eating like 1.5 million RF a tick, so that will allow our energy buffer to build up slightly faster. I expect by the time we start the next video, this energy buffer will be mostly, if not completely full. Anyways, let's wrap up on that note. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care, and bye-bye.